Hi guys, I would like to demonstrate the process of adding a new column to a table, and I'll also show how we can add values to this newly created column, okay? So let's proceed. I have a table which is called sample tables. I used this table in the previous video, so let's show you what this table looks like. So select all columns from sample dates, and that's the name of the table, sample dates. And if we run that, we can see what our table looks like. So this table shows us the date of birth of babies and the dates when they had their 6 to 8 week baby check and then their sex. Okay, so for the null here means I haven't really gone back to check, which I would, to confirm whether or not they had their baby check, and maybe it was just not properly coded, and that's why that information wasn't extracted. And if they had it, then I can always put the date back. But for the sake of this demonstration, I want us to just look at how we can create a new column or add a column to this table. And let's call that column. Let's say we want to know the interval, how many days exist between the dates the baby was born and the dates when they had their 6 to 8 week baby check. And we want to know how many days interval exists between that. We have a way of doing it, which we showed in the last video, where we can just say select all columns, and then we can add, we can use the dated if. We can use the dated if function. Okay, where we can say dates of check, and then we put a comma, and then we say dates of birth. Okay, we can call that interval day. I think we may say from sample dates. Okay, we showed this in our last video. Okay, we showed this in our last video. But what this means is that this particular column is not permanent in this table. Okay, we've just queried it, we've just created it for the sake of maybe for the sake of our analysis. Okay, and if we go back and show the original table, that interval day column doesn't exist. So we haven't really altered, we haven't permanently altered, this table. If we want to make this column, permanent, such that whenever we run this query, we have that interval day, all we could do is we could alter the table. So we can come down and say alter table. Okay, alter table, and then we put the name of our table, which is sample dates. Okay, alter table sample dates, and then we say add column, and we want to call our column interval underscore day. Okay, and then we want to say, okay, we can call this an integer. We can put it as an integer. We can say let's put it as a float. Okay, let's put it as a float. So if we do this, we run this. If we run this and then we run this, we can see that we now have that interval day as a column. Okay, but you can see that this column is empty. So all the rows are showing null. So we haven't got values in the, but we can see that interval day now exists as a column in this table. Okay, in this table, it now exists as a column in this table. And then if we want to, then apply, that I want to now get the interval between the dates the baby was born and the dates the baby had their check or their examination, whether by a doctor or a nurse. We want to know the interval. I want it to just populate within this interval day column. What we can do now is to use the updates clause. So we can say updates sample underscore dates, that's the name of the table, isn't it? And then we'll say set interval day, okay, that should be an underscore, set interval day equals, so what do we want interval day to be? Now we bring in our dated if. Okay, so dated if, and then we say, so dated if, we'll say dates of check. Okay, put a comma, and then dates of birth. Okay, and we can say as, or we don't really put any as because we just already said the set interval day equals this. Okay, so if we run this, and then run our select all from sample dates, we can see our interval day now has the interval. Okay, of course, this is still null because we haven't got dates where the baby had the baby checks. But then when you check this one, when you check this from the 31st of August 2022, or from the 4th of July 2022 when the child was born to the 31st of August 2022 when they had their check, it's 58 days. Okay, so we see, you can see that we've made it more permanent by adding a column using the alter table add column function, and then we've come to update. So we've used the update clause or the update function to updating the table, and then we've set what this column should be, interval day. We'll say set interval day equals, then we'll put that dated if. Okay, and you can see there. And of course, we can always say let's make it months or week. We can always say let's do it to show week. So we'll say divided by, so everything divided by 7. Okay, and if we run that, should be, we can then say, well, then we'll need to call that interval week, isn't it? We need to call that interval week. So add interval week floats. Let's just run everything there. If you run everything there, remember we'll still have our day there. So interval day, interval week. Okay, so we've got interval week there. So, okay, we've not changed this. Interval week. So set interval week. So if we run that, we already have interval week. So we have duplicated that. So what we can do to avoid that is let's come here and say alter table sample dates, drop column interval week. Okay, I said let's drop that. We're gonna drop that and let's add it back. Okay, we go there. You can now see that interval week is giving us the number of weeks. Okay, we made a mistake there because, so we can drop that. So we can say alter table, drop column interval day. Let's drop the day. Okay, let's drop the day. We run that. We want to have only interval week. So interval week is showing us this. And as we did in our last video, we can always round it. Can always say round everything. Let's round it. So just have, okay, I have to drop that again. Let's drop interval week. Okay, see week or weeks week. Let's drop that. Yes. On everything now. So if we come here and say select all columns from sample dates, we can see that because we've used the round, we've rounded it to 0 decimal places. We just have the weeks. So 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So in this demonstration, we can see that we've shown you how to actually, we've shown you how to add a column. I've shown you how to add a column. And I've also shown you how to drop a column, just like deleting a column. As well, I've shown you how to add a column using the outer table name, add column name, and then you have to put the data type you want. You can always put an int there. And then I've shown you how to drop it. alter table, table name, drop column name. You don't need to put, you don't have to put this. If you put this, it will be an error actually. So you just put the column name. And I've shown you how to add values into your newly created column using the updates clause. So update sample dates, which is the table name, set interval week, which is the column we've created, and we'll define what you want it to be. So we said dated if, which is the interval dates. So we've come to the end of this video. If you think it's been helpful, smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Yes.